Was it 180, 181?
So the abutters fence, you have the casting for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, John Freeman, in your motion, would you consider remanding this to staff since
Sure.
it's fairly clear and that might speed up the remediation of the violation?
Excellent idea. Amendment accepted.
Okay. Who seconded that? It was Catherine.
Yes,
Catherine, do you accept that amendment?
I do. I think the time frame should be in there as well, and I think it should be 30 days.
All right, we'll make it 30 days.
Well, 30 days to remediate. Yeah,
30
okay,
days for some action.
for some action, and then it has to be followed up.
Yeah,
Until it's
for example,
complete.
if they contact Ramos and he says, I can't get to it for 60 days, you can report, and that's understandable, as an
Right.
example.
But I would think still the violation would hold until the new fence is in place.
Absolutely. The timeline is not for the violation to expire, it's for the work to be done.
Right. Okay. So, and we've allowed somebody to report and then continue the violation until the work is complete.
We have.
Yeah, I believe we have. So agreed. So Catherine, are you okay with that? If you are,
Sure.
we can take a vote. Peter,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
Felicia,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. So thank you very much, Marcus. Much appreciated. We appreciate whatever you were doing in the sidelines with the applicant to do the right thing. You were saying all the right things to your applicant, to your client. So, and let's hope it goes the right way.
Yeah. Good luck, Marcus.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So I guess we can go to the next item on the agenda, which is design review. And the first item is 35 Braddock Park. Proposed work is to install a roof deck. And this is continued from a February 3rd, 2026 hearing. And also note that it's also continued from a subsequent site visit by a subcommittee consisting of Chris and myself. So, and Chris knew that he couldn't be at today's meeting, so I will, if you would like a report from the subcommittee, I'd be happy to represent Chris's point of view as well as my own.
Please.
Good. Sounds good, John.
Okay, so we went out and reviewed. Jackie and Sarah were with us, and they were very helpful in pointing out the very specific places where we could stand, where we had purview, because it's most visible from the Southwest Corridor Park, but the Southwest Corridor Park does not have purview over it because it's a public way and not a public street, and the railings of decks, the language in the regulations say that the deck railings cannot be visible from a public street. And since the Southwest Corridor is not a public street, we could only review it from certain locations of the intersecting street with the Southwest Corridor, and we could view the back of the deck from the back of the building. It's not visible from the front because Braddock Park is narrow enough that the front railing is set in a location where it's not visible. But the back railing was completely visible because the railing was placed on the back of the building, like co-planar with the back wall and the cornice. And the deck structure and the deck railing were brought right to the edge. And the back of the building has a bow front. And Joe or Sarah, does this proposal show that? If it does, I just want to say that, you know, we remarked that it should be set back as far as it can. It could not be set back more than 5 feet because of the location of the head house, which exists, which brings people up to the roof at a certain location, and that has to be surrounded by a guardrail to protect people from falling off the building. So that guardrail, which would be part of the deck rail, is the most visible part of their railing. So the rest of the railing, as it proceeds towards the adjacent building, is also visible, but starts to become blocked quickly. And we can get into a little bit more, but there are a lot of non-compliant deck railings that are visible from the same location on neighboring buildings. Those are railings that would not have been approved by the Landmark Commission. One can tell just by the ornamental style of many of those railings and their location. And Sarah and Jackie were not aware of any approvals for those adjacent decks. Chris, however, was inclined to be lenient, given it's the back of the building. It's very limited location from where you can see the deck, from where we have purview. And that was Chris's position. My position was that it doesn't matter. It's that the adjacent buildings have decks that are visible. We wouldn't approve those decks today, and they were likely not approved by us in the past, and that this deck needs to comply with our current regulations. So pushing the deck as far back would be the way to go. But when they moved it back 5 feet, I did not feel that there was enough of a reduced visibility to approve it. You could still see the entirety of the railing. Moving it back 5 feet was almost ineffective. And the deck is the largest deck I've ever seen proposed on a roof of a townhouse. Goes from the front of the building to the back of the building. And it's a little set back from the front of the building, but goes all the way to the back of the building, and the building is long. But the owner was not inclined to want to reduce the size of their deck significantly in order to reduce the visibility of the rail. And the location of the head house makes it difficult to remove the most visible part of the railing unless they redesign the head house and the staircase that goes up to it. So that was our discussion. And because there were only 2 of us and we were, one in favor and one against, we felt it needed to come back to the commission.
And John, if I could just add something from the staff comments that Jackie wrote up, that there were, basically there were 2 options presented to the applicant that moved the railing back. I think one that Chris was comfortable with and one that you were comfortable with, and you wanted to come back to the commission to discuss that. But currently the applicant wants to move forward with their original proposal, which was to bring it back to the edge of the roof. And the staff recommendation is that if that's the proposal, that the application be denied. The proposed roof deck configuration that the applicant decided to move forward is highly visible from the southwest corridor. So, if they're not interested in one of the options that was presented to them at the subcommittee, if they want to move forward with what was presented at the February hearing, that be denied.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if the applicant is here, I think we can have the applicant step forward and present what they would like to do, and just make sure for each speaker that you give us your full name before you begin presenting.
Daniel, you should be able to unmute yourself. You're a co-host.
I also see Justin Cruz, Joe.
Okay, I'll make him a co-host.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time. I'm here also with the homeowner, Sam Madoff, and with our Representative John Pulgini and architect Chris Wortley, as well as Justin Cruz, who is my project manager.
Great.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I could introduce John to the discussion right now.
And I'm sorry, what was John's name?
John Pulgini.
Ah, okay, see him here.
And I should just step in and just say, I don't think I need to recuse myself, but I know Dan and have worked with him in the past. Hi, Dan.
Hi, how you doing, John?
Good.
Okay. So who's going to present?
Great. Hey, everybody. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Can you-
board.
Can you
Director.
state your full name, please?
Sure, I was going to get to that, John.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, my name is John Pulgini, Pulgini, an attorney, a zoning attorney here in Boston. And first of all, thank you for having us here tonight. We appreciate it. I'm here on behalf of my clients, Sam and Lauren Madoff. A little bit of background about Sam and Lauren. Sam and Lauren are both medical doctors. Lauren works at Children's and Sam works at the Baptist Hospital. These are their current residents of 15 Braddock Park. Because they love the South End, specifically love this neighborhood, they purchased 35 Bradford Park back in October of 24 with the intent to stay in the neighborhood they love and also provide additional space for their growing family. They're currently renovating 35 Bradford Park, and part of that renovation, they're adding a roof deck to their soon-to-be new home. As John Amadeo stated, the board set up a subcommittee meeting of 2 members who viewed the property and what impacts the roof deck may have from viewing from a public way. I believe that was on March 19th. Now, obviously I was not there. John, you were. My understanding was that there was a small area at the corner of Carlton and Holyoke Streets, less than 2 feet in radius. But if you crane your neck from that situation, you can see part of the railing. Is that correct?
Well, it's correct except for the craning your neck part. But
All right, I'll delete the craning the neck. Got it.
it was visible from standing on that spot, highly
Okay.
visible.
But-
And that was not the only spot. There was a second spot from which we could view as well.
And it's further my understanding that when you guys reviewed it, the other commissioner was okay with this going forward as is and not coming back to this board for a full meeting. Is that correct?
That's not correct. He was
Oh.
okay with it moving forward, moved back to the edge of the deck, just the deck landing just at the top of the stairs by the head house.
Okay.
So the whole railing, we viewed an alteration to the mock-up where the whole railing was moved back to that spot, including 2 options. One would be the curve would remain, just moved back along with the rest of the railing. And the other option was to just have the rail go straight across.
Could you point to, or somebody point to where you're referring to on the
Yeah, it's
drawing on the screen?
so whoever, I think, Joe, if you could put your cursor to the
Or Sarah.
or Sarah, you were with us, so you know where you could point to, which is the edge of the deck railing. I mean, the edge of the deck landing. That's just outside the head house. If you go up to the top of the head house, that's the head house, and there's a square piece of deck there. And go to the top of the top. Go up to that line. Nope, too far. To the line, the edge of the deck, right there. The railing was going to move back to the edge of the deck and go straight across, or go across and then curve.
May I draw on this?
Yeah, you may draw, John.
Oh, don't move it.
Oh,
This,
can you
So I
still?
think what you're saying as the architect here is like this, and then with a curve. That was the scheme that was acceptable to Chris?
That and or a scheme where it just goes straight across and dispenses with the curve. So those were 2 options that we looked at. I preferred the one that goes straight across. I still was not going to vote in favor, but I thought if it was going to come back to the commission should look at both of those and discuss it. And I would just let you know that my vote would still be not in favor. But outside of that, I wanted the rest of the commission to look because Chris and I were at an impasse. He would have approved either one of those.
Is there more to the presentation?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Okay.
Could we go to, I don't know who is controlling the presentation, but we had put a cover letter on there. And it's a street layout of this area, together with an email from Todd Liming, who is the chief engineer of the City of Boston Public Improvements Commission of the Public Works Department. Did you guys receive all that information?
Yes. Who is this? This correct? From Todd Liming.
That's just, yes, but there's the plan right there. You can see the discontinuance area. Now, we had asked Todd to opine his opinion on that. For those of you who don't know Todd, he is head of street layouts for the City of Boston. We put a red marker where my clients explained to me, you can see it highlighted on that street layout right there. And Todd's response was the red marker you shown the attached copy of the L10962 is within the subject discontinuance area. Therefore, I do not believe that this marker is within the current Holyoke Street public right of way. If anything, it may be located within the Carlton Street private right of way.
Okay.
So our question for the board today is, if it's in a private right of way, is that under the jurisdiction of your commission?
I will ask Joe to help us clarify that. What is our purview? Should that intersection now be considered a private street?
Well, that's what the City of Boston is saying it is.
Right, I'm asking Joe,
Yeah,
please.
public way is what the guidelines say. So the public way would be the Southwest Corridor itself.
Oh, okay. If the Southwest Corridor is in play as our purview, then the deck was fully visible. And we viewed it from the Southwest Corridor during our subcommittee. Yeah, we just couldn't view it from the sidewalk of Carlton Street. The concrete sidewalk of Carlton Street. We couldn't view it from there.
Joe Cornish, didn't we just start by saying that it was not under the review from the
Well, I made that statement, but I believe I was incorrect. Joe corrected me just now.
Okay. So with respect to the corner of Carlton and Holyoke Street, that's where that red dot is. So that is in a private right of way. Would that be applicable or purview for this commission?
Well, regardless of that, if we're in the Southwest Corridor itself, it was fully visible because we made that observation when we were there. From the Southwest Corridor Park, when we stood in the Southwest Corridor Park, the deck was fully visible. So, you know, if we eliminate the corner of Holyoke and Carlton, that doesn't eliminate the view from Southwest Corridor as under our purview.
Do you guys have any views from the Southwest Corridor of the deck that you can pull up?
Yes, I can find them. If you want to keep going with the presentation, I can.
No, that was a presentation on there's a presentation that will follow that Chris Wortley will get into. When we were looking at this, as you can see on this area right here, as you go down a little bit further, the view that we were told is from there, or from what I was told. And if you look to the left of that closest tree to the building, you can see a little bit of the deck, and that was the view that I was explaining. So John
Right.
Amadeo, is that the area where you're talking about that was on the corner of Carlton and Holyoke?
That's correct, on the corner of Holyoke and Carlton, from that spot.
Okay. So I'll turn it over to Chris. You can go through his presentation.
Did you want me to start from the beginning?
Sure. So just before we go down this path, it was, just to be clear, it was our understanding from previous conversations that the Southwest Corridor was not under the purview, so that we were really focusing on this one spot that was on the end of Holyoke street, which we could see the deck. If the southwest corridor is in the purview, it kind of changes our whole understanding of the situation at this point, because that was not made clear previously. I can walk through, basically, we put together a presentation to
Chris,
show.
can I interrupt for 1 second? Only because I went and looked at Section 3, specific residential standards and criteria, South End Landmark District, which states portions of roofs that are visible from public streets and avenues are the only part subject to landmarks review. As this location is not in the public right of way, the commission would, so I guess what I'm saying is if it's not under your own, and this is on your own website, if it's not from public streets and avenues, how does it have jurisdiction?
The design guidelines say roof decks, including decking and railing, should not be visible from any public way. Partial visibility of the railing may be allowed on a case-by-case basis, based on criteria listed in number 1 above. Any visible railings must be black metal. And that's been the purview of the commission.
So is that just it conflicting
Or
with
roof decks.
what Section 3 states? This is specifically addressing roof decks.
Correct.
No, I'm saying Section 3 specifically references roof decks.
And I'm telling you Section F, roofs. F2, roof decks.
So why would it say in one place that it is public streets and avenues, and then in another section says what you're saying it says?
That's what it says.
So then which is it? You can't have two different things that say you can't have two different rules that lay out two different requirements.
This has been the
I
policy of the
get it,
commission.
Joe. I understand you're saying this has been, but your own criteria that I pulled up in preparation for today's meeting specifically states, and you have it right there. If you go to Section 3 of that, it states unequivocally that it is public streets and avenues are the only parts subject to landmarks review.
How do you define a public street? The southwest corridor is a public area and people drive their cars on it, hence it is a public street.
May I make a comment?
Yeah,
Mr.
go
Chairman?
ahead. Go ahead, John.
Purview of legal interpretation is not a purview of this committee. If that's what this is going to come down to, I recommend that we continue this in fairness to the applicants coming up, and also in fairness to the commissioners, some of which who have to leave at a certain point. And that this, whatever needs to be done after this meeting or outside of this meeting, consultation with the legal department or whatever, be done. But I don't see the point of us sitting here taking up everybody else's time to do that. If that's the only issue that's up, is what our purview is, that's our purview is not to be decided by us.
No, I agree.
Right.
And John Freeman, I think that's actually a pretty good idea. I think that, we're looking at one section of your standards and regulation criteria that says something different than what Mr. Cornish is reading from
Okay.
the section.
So,
So I'll make a motion to continue this.
Second.
okay, so we have a motion and it's been seconded, and we're going to go to public comment, and then we'll take a vote. And thank you, John, for that welcome interruption. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on the application and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can press *9 to raise your hand, or you can send your questions to staff via email at southendldc@boston.gov. Sarah, anybody raising their hands, or do we have any written comments submitted?
I do not see any hands raised, and we did not receive any written public comment.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Sarah. And we'll go to a vote. Peter.
Aye.
Felicia.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. Thank you very much, and we'll see you as this proceeds.
Appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Sure.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll go to the next item on the agenda, which is 90 Dartmouth Street, proposed work, install a gate at the front entrance, and this is continued from the March 3rd hearing.
All right, if the applicant is here, if you could raise your hand. Sarah, do you see the name of the applicant?
No.
Sorry, no, I don't see him, but I can send them an email. It should be Jerry Dipaolo. And I don't see him on the call, but I do see the applicant for 131.
All right, so maybe John Amadeo, could we skip to?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest let's go to the next application, and if the applicant for 90 Dartmouth shows up, we can come back to that.
Okay. Great, so Marie should be here.
And thank you, Sarah.
Of course.
Hi, everyone. This is Marie Mercier with Sign
Marie,
Design.
I'm sorry, Marie, before you start, I have to read the agenda item into the record before you start.
Sure, not a problem.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. So the next item on the agenda is 131 Dartmouth Street. The proposed work is to remove existing awning and replace with awning titled Fedex Office. Install new non-illuminated wall signs. Install new vinyl signage at the front entry door titled Fedex Office. Install a new non-illuminated blade sign. And that's it.
Yep.
Marie, give us your full name and then carry on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marie Mercier. I am with Sign Design in Brockton, Mass. With the sign company that will be doing the installing for our client for FedEx, the FedEx office on Dartmouth Street. They are moving into this location and is looking for signage for the business.
Okay.
Sorry,
But I can read our my staff comment into the record.
Yeah, please do. Hang on, Marie, while Sarah reads.
So I've corresponded with the applicant and requested that the proposed blade sign actually be omitted from the project. However, the applicant had opted to move forward to present the project as submitted to the commission. I recommend that this application be approved with the proviso that the purple panels on the side and the blade sign be eliminated from the proposal, as installing purple panels on the existing bay windows would be inconsistent with the bay window design of the building, and that the blade sign as proposed is excessive when added to the proposed signage. And
okay, great. Terrific recommendations. Thank you, Sarah. Marie, carry on.
Yes. So as Sarah was saying, so we have, you can scroll down to the photos. They have a few different.
Can we locate the building first? Can you just show us on the plan where we are?
Right where that red dot is on, was this Dartmouth Street, 131 Dartmouth Street?
That's right. Okay. And Columbus is the diagonal one to the right.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you. I'm oriented.
So you can move down, Sarah. These are just photos of what's existing there right now in the business that has left. So what we're looking to do, you can scroll down. That's the application. So what they're looking to do is just, FedEx, of course, is a purple color. So they're just going to I think that's like an awning material. So they're going to just recover the awning on that above the doorway, keeping it same size, everything, just the logo branding, which is the purple color, and then the FedEx in white and orange with office. Continue down. That's just the size of the logo on the that's, go ahead, down. That's just a little sticker on their door so they know the front, even though the awning is there, just it's saying FedEx Office. That's just vinyl that will be going on the door. And so they have 2 bay windows at this location. So they have one to the right and to the left of their entryway. We haven't gone out yet and actually surveyed this because usually we wait until after the meeting so we know what we're actually allowed to do. But what they want to do is where it says print and ship, that would be an aluminum pan sign. I did send Sarah, I think it's at the end of this packet, how we would install this. Because that's like a recessed area, we would just put a flat bar on the top and the bottom and just screw that in and then just hook the pan sign over the top and the bottom. And then we would fasten that to the blade that we have coming out from the window. So it would only be a few screws going into the building, but everything else would be screwed to the metal blade that would come, that we would install it onto the building itself. Now to the right and to the left though, if you go back on this I'm not too sure if that's glass or if that's wood that's underneath that. On those 2 sections there, if it is glass, they're just looking to put a piece of the purple vinyl to cover it so you can see the full strip and bring attention to the FedEx.
Marie, I think if we go to the existing photo or former photo, I think you can.
I'm pretty sure it's glass.
It looks like glass.
It looks like glass, but there's on the other side. For some
think
reason,
there's
it
just
looked like a wood.
I think
So
there
we-
might just be a shade
The
behind the
other,
glass.
there are
Okay.
many other bays on the building, and I think they're all glass.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's just a shade and you can see a reflection on that left one.
All right, so then in that case, if that is glass, we're just looking to put a piece of vinyl to cover it so you have that full strip.
On the inside or the outside of the glass?
We could do it either way.
And is the plan for the middle panel to have the text that says print and ship?
So on one bay, it would say print and ship, and then if you scroll down, the other bay says, they both say something different.
The other one says signs and graphics.
Signs and graphics. So these are all the things that they do within this FedEx location.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing on this side, you know, putting the vinyl over the window. I think it would probably be better from the outside. We can put the vinyl on the outside versus the inside, because I don't know, like you said, if there's like a ceiling or drop ceiling, or maybe that's why it looked like there was a shade or something there. So it would probably be easier to install the vinyl just to adhere it to the outside of the window. The other thing that they were looking at and why we had to come to the Landmark Commission is, if you scroll down, Sarah, they're looking to do also a blade. Oh, this is how we would be installing the sign in the middle. So we would take that mounting bar and then just put the sign over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is so they were interested in putting up a blade sign right here in the corner. And talking to Sarah, blade signs, I guess, are not allowed in this area, but they wanted to come forward and, you know, ask permission if we would be able to do a blade sign for their location. They're just looking for some more exposure to the FedEx location.
So why isn't there a 30-foot banner hanging from the roof with FedEx on it? I mean,
What a
There's-
wise guy.
I know, I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
May I ask
ahead,
a
John.
question? So the commission reviewed this whole building as new construction.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet, I'm 90% sure that there was a full signage master plan.
Thank you, John. I agree. I remember it.
I remember it too. And that would answer all these questions. You wouldn't even have to come to the commission if we can come up with that.
Right.
Well, could I ask a question about that, which was exactly my question? However, I was puzzled as to how that got approved. When you look at how these banners or whatever the hell they are installed, they go right into the brick. They're not, you know, abiding by the
Well, it's a
typical.
new building.
So I don't get that new building thing. I don't get that at all.
It's about preserving the historic material. This is replaceable. Like you can go buy another one of those bricks.
You can
They had
go
a lot
buy
of
more
spare.
bricks. Is that the answer?
Well, but the point is there was original, I think the controversy is going to be about the amount of signage and whether the transom or clear story windows, whatever you want to call them, which are, I'm 99% sure are glass. They are above and they are this in the other bays. Whether that's considered a sign band, and the master plan would answer both those questions. The other question I have for staff, I can't remember if something is installed on the inside of the glass, do we still have purview over it?
If it's meant to be seen outside as signage, yes.
Oh, really?
I thought we had been told, like, for example, neon signs on the inside, we had no purview over.
No, we do. The window signage.
I think if they put it on like a back wall of a room, you know, I don't know.
Anyway, if we do, we do, that's fine.
That's
I
too
trust Joe.
hypothetical. Yep,
Joe,
I do too. I do too.
Yeah,
So,
and Sarah.
Yep. So,
So
go ahead, John.
I wouldn't want, I mean, if there's a master plan, somebody must have it. If it's not in our files, it must be in the files of the building ownership. And that could, if we remanded this to staff or continued it, that would answer those questions, and we wouldn't have to sit here and debate and measure how many square feet of sign this is. And
That's right.
We know that the awnings over the doors are allowed because they're everywhere else in the building.
Right. And but I would venture to say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs for a single business that doesn't turn a corner would be excessive, even in the context of that signage master plan. I would, but of course the signage master plan will tell us, but it's unlikely we would have allowed 5 signs for a single
But nobody's
business.
ever heard of FedEx, you know, we just don't know.
That's right, exactly.
Sorry, see, we can both be sarcastic.
That's right. And the FedEx logo on the awning can be seen before you even see the blade sign.
The blade sign.
You see the awning before you see the blade sign, even though the blade
Exactly.
sign is closer.
Exactly. I
Right.
did tell my client that. I said, I'm gonna, you know, I'll sit here, I'll fight for you, you know, for the blade sign that you want. I said, but if they don't allow it, I go, FedEx does, you see by the awning that's over the doorway,
Right.
that this is a FedEx location.
Right. You'll see it a block away, and I venture to say the signage and graphics and print and whatever it says on those other signs, everybody knows what FedEx does. So, you know, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I concur with John that this could be continued in order to investigate a signage master plan.
Could we approve just the awning tonight? Because I think it's pretty clear that's allowable, since it's consistent with everything else on the building, and continue the rest of it. That way they can put up the sign if they want to.
Yeah, I think that's a good, and just the awning, I think we have to include that the decal on the door needs to be held back along with everything else until
Okay.
we get the master plan.
Okay,
Okay.
that's
So
reasonable.
Go
if
ahead,
it's
John.
okay with other commissioners, I will make a motion to that effect.
I'd like to make a comment first.
Sure.
Yeah,
Of
go
course.
ahead.
Part
Peter.
clarification. We're talking about the side lights on the transom on the sides of the bay.
So they did put something in there about that, but I had spoke to my client, all they're looking for, it does say on the bottom, replace lamp. They're just looking to us to put brand new bulbs in the lights, the existing lights that are already there.
That's not what my comment was going to be
Oh,
about.
I'm sorry.
My comment was about the proposal to put the purple vinyl or whatever in the side transom windows of the left and right bay. I walked over there. So what you're seeing for the existing is not just shadow. There is an interior applied vinyl that is green. And my suggestion would be that that should be transparent as in the upper section, unless a drop ceiling or something is interfering with that. So
Okay.
that there would be no purple
or green.
or
And
green vinyl applied either inside or outside.
Right. I think that was going to be held until the discovery of the signage master plan that we believe exists. So we're not approving that now. That's going to be held back along with everything but the awning over the door.
Okay, I was commenting on that simply because I didn't see that as signage on
Good
the
point.
side panels.
Good point. And I would suggest that when a signage master plan is found and the applicant wants to continue to get approval for other things, that they come back to the full commission, that it not be remanded to staff. John, would you concur with
Sure.
that?
Amendment accepted.
Okay.
I think Arrow Street was the architect. They may have a copy too.
Hmm.
Was it Arrow Street?
I
That
think it
sounds
was.
right. Yeah.
That sounds right. So we have a motion. Did somebody second it?
I will second.
Okay, Catherine seconded. Motion, it's been seconded. Thank you, Marie. We're going to take public comment and then vote on the motion after public
Thank you.
comment. We have a motion, it's been seconded. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on the application and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can press *9 to raise your hand, or you can send your questions to staff via email at southendldc@boston.gov. And Sarah, do we have any written comments or anybody raising their hand? I see a hand raised.
Yep, there is one person with their hand raised, RAGHAV, if you give us your full name.
Yeah, my full name is Raghav Mani, and I'm raising my hand because I live at 90 Dartmouth Street, so this was the previous application that you were waiting to see if Jerry was there. And
We'll come back to you then, Raghav.
Okay, so I wasn't sure when is the right time, and I was sorry.
As soon as we're done with this one.
Sorry.
Moments from now.
Hang on.
Don't go anywhere. So
besides that, we did not receive any written public comment.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. So we'll go to a vote now. John?
Yeah, aye.
Catherine?
Aye.
Felicia?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
And the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. Thank you very much, Marie. We'll see you again, we hope.
Thank you. Yep, I'll be there next month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Yeah, good luck.
Bye.
Okay. And we'll go now to 90 Dartmouth, and I need to read the proposed work into the record. Proposed work is to install a gate at the front entrance, and this is continued from the March 3rd, 2026 hearing.
I was able
And
to call Jerry, so he should be on now. I was able to give him a call.
okay. And so who's ever presenting, please give us your full name and then begin your presentation.
Yeah, this is Jerry Dipaolo Construction. Sorry, I was a little late. My apologies.
Excuse me, John, if I could read the staff comments.
Oh yeah, please go ahead. Hang on, Jerry.
Yep, I'll just
Sure,
look at, this application was continued from the March hearing because commissioners could not come to a consensus on the determination. The standards and criteria refers to gates as inappropriate for front yards. However, after internal review, staff finds that this particular gate is not located in a front yard and rather has a recessed entryway that is atypical to the district because this is a contemporary building. Staff recommends that this application be approved with the following provisos. Applicant find the least invasive method of installation and remand that to staff for final approval.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, carry on, Jerry.
Yes, yeah, like I said, sorry for being late. This is just a continuance from the last meeting, and just from what I'll just go through the whole thing. You're seeing the photo here now is the recessed entry with no gate on that photo, and the next one I think I put is with the gate. I know we'd had discussions about how we would anchor into the side, which I show some bolting patterns, and then one of the board members had asked that I make sure that the hinge is not seen. So in one of my photos, you'll see a hinge that's basically you won't be able to see from the street. I know some discussion on approving it or not, and then yeah, there's the photo with the one on the top left would be the hinge that you would not be able to see.
So that's a picture from the inside.
Correct. Yes.
Be clear.
Actually, I think I put a lead pin, which then we'd paint black, but you wouldn't see that hinge. Yeah, I mean, it's really not too much more to say other than I just, I hope that the board sees that. I know there was some comments about the building when it was built, and that it wouldn't fall under certain guidelines, and hope the determination is made in the favor of the owners of 90 Dartmouth, given the what's been going on there over the last few years with the people sleeping up on the stairs and stuff being stolen. And I did go through a lot of detail in trying to get this gate to match exactly to what's there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So were any of my fellow commissioners not here last month? I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions.
Felicia, wasn't she not here?
Felicia?
Right. I was not here.
Okay, so would you, I'll give you, we all know this application, who I think Peter, Catherine, John, and I were here.
Mhm.
So
Is the full context of the request focused on this hinge?
no, it's on the gate.
Right.
Yeah.
So could we go back to the, yeah, thanks. In the height, I guess and you're saying that the gate will now swing out and that hinge will be on the left side?
Swings in.
It swings in.
Swings in.
Okay, it'll swing in. And that is simply the access to that single unit, or does it move into something more common?
Single unit.
Single unit.
Yes.
And I guess my question, I know that this is new construction. I think I even remember the architect who did this, and the installation is the installation of this fence contributing to the sort of destruction of the concrete setting bed where the fence is anchored into?
Well, the fence exists, the gate doesn't.
Right, but my question is, do you see all of the cracks?
Yeah,
Concrete
in the capstone for the cheek wall
Yeah.
of the
So
steps.
is that a function of the anchoring of the fence that's there? And if so, would that be part of the improvements that would occur? Because wouldn't the same thing sort of happen to the capstone on the left-hand side of the arch?
I did offer to make the repairs on the masonry on the right-hand side in lieu of, getting the gate. But the gate, we had talked about in the last meeting, how it would be anchored and where the holes would be set. I don't see, I mean, the eroding there on the bottom, from what I can see, I mean, the sidewalks kind of dropped a little bit and probably the undermining of some of the masonry, but I could fix that to prevent that from going any further. I could fix those two pieces there. I could
Because it just seems like
repair
they're
those.
very close to where the actual penetration is. That
Right.
there's been sort of
So-
stress cracks over there,
so-
and I just wonder, will the same thing happen in a horizontal manner when
Right.
the gate is installed?
So Felicia, I think to help shed light on the question you're asking, I would like to ask Jerry, is the anchoring going into the concrete frame on the left side or into the brick joints just behind it?
Into the, we're gonna set it back. It actually lines up with the brick joint.
With the
So
brick
it would,
joint,
so
okay.
it wouldn't be going into the concrete.
No, I wouldn't, no,
trim.
I wouldn't want to drive
Okay.
into that, yeah, into the
Okay.
precast, no, I would not want to
Right.
do that, no. No.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah,
I
just
wanted to
wondered.
clear that up because it seemed that was your concern.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
any other questions, Felicia?
No, I
Okay.
see that it's sort of recessed a little bit further back, but yeah, it's fine.
It is, yeah.
Right, okay. So we all had a discussion and we're at an impasse, but last time. Catherine, do you have any comments?
Well, I want to go back to the regulations that Joe read. You know, it talks about, they talk about gates in a couple different places. And there's also an entry doors and vestibules section that says gates or grills directly outside or in place of main doors may be allowed and will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So I guess that's what we're doing. It's a case-by-case basis. I don't subscribe to that whole new construction approach because whatever the construction, whenever it was done, it's in an historic district. And in my mind, and in the minds of others, other commissioners and other, for example, the Beacon Hill Commission, believe the same thing, that whenever the building was built, it is in the historic district and it must abide by the guidelines and regulations established for that district. So then there was this whole conversation about stairs, whether they're parallel to the sidewalk or perpendicular to the sidewalk. So if you can move this camera, and you probably can't, a little bit to the left, there's a gate that was installed on that very building in front of steps that are perpendicular to the sidewalk. So why was that allowed? Apparently, and Sarah told me that it was approved with the building back in 1998, and I find that puzzling. So I just, it's all very confusing. I think it's all troubling. It
Right.
doesn't seem to be black or white.
Yeah,
So
I had thought about taking a picture of that gate. I'm glad you saw
I
it.
have a picture and I sent it
Yeah,
to Sarah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so Jerry, what were you thinking about that? You know?
Well, I looked at it, you know, and I do understand what you're saying about it's in a historical district. So we really don't want to go whether it's, you know, it's we can get around the rule. I do agree with what you're saying. I just feel that, you know, in a case by case basis, if I can, and you've seen that I've tried to make this look like it was always there. I've made all the effort, I think we all have collectively, trying to make this a safer environment for the people living there and make it look like it's always been there. That was my goal.
Yeah, and I think you did an excellent job.
That was my goal.
Excellent job, paying attention to detail, making it match the railing that was all, you know, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what were you thinking about that other gate?
When I looked at it, I was just, okay, because you see the, you know, you see the window grates, you see gates, you know,
Yeah.
whether they're approved or weren't approved, you know, we're all through Boston. We're around there every day. So you see all kinds of stuff going on, and some of them approved and some of them not.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's just, you know, I just looked at it and did the best I could as far as trying to make it look like it was there.
Okay, Jerry, I want to give others a chance to comment or question first. So So Catherine, do you have any further comments? If not, I'll move on to someone else.
No, go right ahead. I
Great.
just agree, Jerry, you did a great job.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great. Peter,
Yes, thank you.
and we're at comments now, unless you still have questions.
No, I mean, Felicia, just for your information, I was one of the 2 dissenting voices last month. I've tried to really reflect on it a lot in the course of the past month. And for the applicant, unfortunately, my position has not changed. I just think putting a gate there, I realize it's an atypical entry from most of the south end, but I think it is contrary to our standards and to the whole environment of the south end. We've had applicants come to the commission in the past to put gates at the bottom steps of entry steps that go straight into a building, and we have denied the approval simply because this is an atypical entryway. To me, it is not really relevant, nor does it change the fact that we do not allow gates on entryways, main entries to buildings. I think it's, there aren't any on the front of this building or the front that's facing Columbus.
Right.
And if it were allowed here, I think it would be difficult to deny it if an applicant of another unit here along Columbus Avenue wanted to put it, or the adjacent building to the left that's part of this development, where the stairs are directly perpendicular to the sidewalk.
Yeah, there are a lot of unique entries into this.
Yeah. Being a private entry, I think that's a big one. I have heard people wanting to put gates on the front entries of a common area stair going up, and I agree that should never happen. I think case by case, I think this is something that should get some merit, and just look at what the owner goes through, and it's a private entry. That'd be my only last 2 cents I could probably put in. I think this is a very unique situation. And deserves, I mean, I get it. We, this gets approved and everybody wants approval, I think, but Catherine made a good point, and it's a case by case, and I think this deserves some looking at, whether it happens today or happens in another meeting, it deserves to be looked at, and maybe there's some room for some peace for the owners.
So,
okay, Jerry, I'm
John,
going to ask you to hold, and
Sure.
so that we can continue with commissioner comments.
John,
Peter?
I do have a further comment
Yeah,
on this.
carry on.
That's it. And if I am in a minority on the ultimate vote on this, I would still comment that I think the scroll work, the fleur-de-lis on the top of the gate is excessive. And I think that to carry the spirit of the rail, the top of the gate should just have a straight edge to it.
Okay.
Not
Yep.
the
I agree.
fleur-de-lis.
Yeah,
Okay.
I concur with that as well.
Sure,
Peter.
sure.
It's a
But,
great comment.
Yeah, it is.
It is a great.
So
That's a good
Peter,
point.
Peter and Catherine have commented. Felicia, do you feel comfortable commenting now?
I think I tend to agree with, everything that's been said here. It's a complicated question that's put forth. I mean, I guess at some level I could rely on the fact that it is new construction, and I know that And each of these entrances are different. And while they are the public entrance, they're not that's why they're not necessarily a common entrance, right? It is an entrance to a single unit, even the one around the corner and even the one that has the stair. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
Private
entry.
And I know we're not supposed to think about, you know, what is happening in the area, but what is happening in the area is very real. And the public, this access to this unit, I think, while it provides privacy and sort of off the street, it provides that privacy for folks who shouldn't be taking advantage of it.
Right.
So, Peter,
That's,
place to go.
I think that's dangerous territory to tread into
Yeah.
because we can't.
No, I know, like I said, it's not allowed. I know it's not allowed, but it's,
And we've denied gates at Stoops on Mass Ave, Felicia.
I've been part of that vote. That's denied gates on
Right.
Stoops, the Mass Ave, that has a verticality, that has an exposure, and there was a reason for that.
Right.
John,
But again, I think if it moves forward, I agree with Peter's comment about the over ornamentation on the gate itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
John, could I
Catherine,
add
go ahead.
something else?
Mm-hmm.
If this is approved, I think the commission has to be very, very specific about why they're approving this and why the people on Rutland Street won't come back in here and say, why can't we have that gate? I mean, it's the whole can of worms. And so we have to be very, very explicit about why this is being approved.
Mm-hmm. Right. Agreed.
And I do have to offer that I did speak with Jim Alexander, who designed this building at length. And my conversation was at length. And he feels his design, the arch is the most important element of this part of this building. And he feared initially that what was being proposed, he hadn't seen it, was to go all the way up and impose on the grandness, you know, the feature of the arch.
Right.
He has no problem with a gate, actually, as long as it's carefully designed, attention to detail is done, and it fits in and is appropriate with the rail that's already there. So I think, you know, some of us were concerned with, well, what was the original intent of the architect? And hearing his comments was very interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. So the only person who hasn't commented yet is John Freeman. So John?
I will comment on this. I think everybody's discussion about this has been really interesting, and I think it's really right on, and I don't think that there is a clear, correct answer. I do, in that case, look to the staff comments in the same way as in other applications. When we have a subcommittee, we look to the opinion of the subcommittee when they come back to understand what we can't be there to investigate. And the staff comments, as read, are that this is an allowable gate. So I think that we can allow it. Personally, I'd rather see it left open, and I think consistent with the rest of the South End, I'd rather see it left open, but I can't say that it has to be. I agree with, so if we allow it, I agree with Peter that the top is a little bit too extra ornamentation.
Okay.
And Jerry, I think you did a fantastic job with this, and I think your rendering is amazing.
Appreciate
I think it's beautiful. But the problem is when you do a really nice design, architects always want to look at it more carefully.
Sure.
And the one thing that caught my eye actually before the top was that the slenderness of the infill elements, because
Okay.
are they the same size, same width as the ones going up the stair, or are they actually thinner?
They're the same thickness cast iron wise, but what I tried to do is I tried to get more of them in that space. I could put two of them and make them the same exact size as what's on the handrail.
It just
And then
felt like they should feel
Yeah.
more similar, but you know,
Okay.
that's something that I can't
Okay,
describe exactly here because it's the kind of thing I'd want to play with on paper.
sure.
But I
Sure.
just, so I'm providing that as a comment, not as a proviso.
Okay,
But I do think that taking the ornamentation off the top should be a proviso.
okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And fixing the stone, Felicia's
Yeah,
right.
I'll take care of it.
Unfortunately, I looked around the building and there's a lot of settlement everywhere. It's the damn sidewalks
Yeah,
that weren't
Yes.
installed properly.
yeah.
Correct.
Mhm. So, and I'll just add my comments in that this is a challenging application for us because it is atypical and that I feel very uncomfortable approving it, even though our regulations would allow it as staff has described. And, you know, I think staff has given this a lot of thought and was very articulate about why it could be approved here while gates in historic gardens
Right.
are not approved. And there are two locations where we have denied gates. One is at the bottom of stoops. Most times the stoop comes right to the back of sidewalk and somebody wants to put a gate right there. We've said no. Even when the stoop is set back, we've said no. But also there are paths next to stoops that give access to a door under the stoop. And there have never been gates in that location. Historically, people have proposed gates. People continue to propose gates in those locations, and we deny them every single time. So that makes me feel uncomfortable about this. And people will come back and point to this gate, and we will have to point them to a design approval letter that describes why it's okay here and not elsewhere.
Right.
And that's going to be very difficult when people have the same issue of stolen packages and vagrants lying on their stoops when they come out their door. And we have to continue to deny their gate. So I'm uncomfortable, and I'm not even sure how I'll vote yet.
Okay.
So I think I voted reluctantly in favor the last time, but
Yes.
I'm feeling reluctant still. So
Just, I, as an occupant of the place, just add a couple of
yeah.
comments here. This
Go
is my
ahead,
lived experience.
Rocco.
Yeah, this is our lived experience. It's me and my wife and our 3-year-old, and we have on a regular basis, including this last weekend, people urinating in the stoop. We've had situations where people defecate in the stoop. Like that area makes our home unsafe. It just feels unsafe. It's unsafe to go challenge those individuals when they do it because they're usually drunk. And we have had situations where those people have verbally threatened us. So it just makes the whole place not feel like home. Truly, this is one of the things that gives me the highest stress on a Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. I'm always dreading what's going to happen here. Like I'm watching the Ring camera. I try to give them a verbal warning through the Ring camera. If I step out of the door, I don't know what will happen. Like that's the lived reality for us here.
So
Very good
I'm
points.
sorry, but I want to reiterate, your safety and your security is not our purview. There are
Right.
agencies in the city that should be responsible for that, not the Landmarks Commission. And it's painful to say that because we live in the same situation and have experienced what you're experiencing. But
I
it
think
is
this
not,
corner specifically has a very high likelihood of these events with that recessed entrance where it feels like it's private. People don't treat it like a public area. They think they can come there, hide, and do things that they shouldn't do.
but those areas are pervasive throughout the South End. Ask Peter Sanborn about his home. I mean, we all lived in places and we experienced that. It's not the purview of the commission to ensure safety. I'm sorry, we are compassionate and we empathize, but that is not why we approve applications.
Okay, so um, all commissioners have had an opportunity to comment, but I'm going to ask one last time, are there any further comments? If not, I think we are ready for a motion.
I have a question.
Yeah, Peter.
Why does staff think this is permissible? Could you restate it? 'Cause I'm having a hard time understanding the rationale for it. Sarah or Joe?
Sorry, I was muted. I'll read the staff comments again. This was continued from the March hearing because the commissioners could not come to a consensus on a determination. The standards and criteria refers to gates as inappropriate for front yards. However, after internal review, staff finds that this particular gate is not located in the front yard and rather has a recessed entryway that is atypical to the district because it's a contemporary building. Staff recommends this application be approved with the following proviso: that the applicant find that the least invasive method of installation, and remand that to staff for final approval.
It's not a front yard, yes, but it is a front entry, and the application title here says front entry. So I don't understand the staff's thinking as to how this is any different than.
The standards and criteria go on to say gates or grills directly or outside main doors may be allowed on a case-by-case basis. So this is a case-by-case basis, and that's why it's before the commission to determine if this is appropriate.
Right, but the garden thing, front yard, doesn't it apply here as a reason to approve it, because it's not.
Well, the guidelines say they're not appropriate for front yards. So this is not a front yard. We all agree on that.
Exactly, but a lot of the
So
ones
we're saying this
don't
is an
approve.
entrance. We're saying this is entrance, and it's approvable on a case-by-case basis, and that's what deliberation discussion is about.
Yeah, deemed as a
So
private way.
Joe, are you saying that staff is recommending approval, but not necessarily of this design?
No,
that
we're recommending approval. It's the attachment to the wall.
Oh, the attachment to the wall, the least substitutes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was brought up in the last meeting.
Okay.
Right, which
Oh,
we
it's always
discussed
there.
at the last meeting.
Yeah.
So
Correct,
Joe,
correct.
would you read again about a grate by a doorway, the latter part of the staff recommendation?
Gates or grills directly outside or in place of main doors may be allowed and will be approved on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, there's a grate on the entry door, the wooden entry door. So, directly outside. I guess I don't see this as directly outside, but that's my interpretation, which is obviously different than staff's.
Okay. Agreed, Peter. So that's all been good discussion. Does anyone think we're ready for a motion? If so, I would be willing to take one.
I move that we deny the application without prejudice.
Okay. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and it's been seconded, and we can take public comment on this application. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on the application and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can press *9 to raise your hand, or you can send your questions to staff via email at southendldc@boston.gov. Sarah, do we have any written comments or anyone raising their hand?
We did not receive any written public comment, and I do not see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go to a vote. John,
No,
That's nay.
nay,
Felicia,
Nay.
Catherine,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So the motion carries. I think I've called on everyone. So it's denied without prejudice, which means you can come back with some other solution. If you can think of one.
How about a head?
Okay. What's that? No, I'll just be back again with, I guess, more detail, I guess. I'm not sure. The staff said, okay, I guess. I just hope, what I hear here is that, we're, and I mean this with all due respect, that we're worried about whatever else is going to say. I think this was a very unique situation. I think there was room to actually set a precedence which would help the South End, Beacon Hill, and Back Bay, and not deter it. We're all going to get different opinions from everybody, but I think.
Well, but this is the
safety.
commission. This is the opinion of this commission.
Yep. We'll come back again, and hopefully we can come up with other stuff that'll
because there was a
make them-
split vote, I think there's an opportunity to think further on this and and I would definitely work with staff on it.
Yeah, I will. I'll go back and work on this and see, and I'll see you in 60 days or so.
Thanks, Jerry. It's a tough one.
Thank you. Yes, it is. It is. Thank you.
Okay, so I think the next item on the agenda is administrative review. So do I need to read that text into the record?
No.
Joe or Sarah, if I don't, we can just take a, Peter?
I need to recuse myself from the application for 57 East Springfield Street, which is midway down, application 26.
Yep, we see it.
0745.
So how about if we vote on all but that one first? And then we'll vote on 57 without you.
Sounds good.
So we can have a motion to approve all but that application and you can vote.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. And I will go right to a vote. We don't take public comment on administrative review. So Peter.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Felicia.
Aye.
And the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. And so I'll take another motion.
I move to approve the administrative review for the address 57 East Springfield Street.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. It's been seconded. Felicia.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. Thank you. Peter, you're welcome back.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from March 3rd.
Second.
Do we have a second? So Peter.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
Felicia.
Abstain due to absence.
Okay. John.
Aye.
And the chair votes with the motion, so the motion carries. And staff updates. Any news?
Yep. So I have one update to follow up on the discussion that we had about the Hotel Alexandra.
Oh, yay, Sarah. Thank you. Update.
Yep. So the latest update that we have is that the project is progressing. The historic tax credits that they had pursued, they had been approved for.
Oh,
So
yay.
yeah, so they're still working to close the capital gap, but they were hoping to start construction on the project this summer. They don't have an exact date for construction because it depends on the funding. But they said that they would keep us updated as the plans develop.
Okay. Is there, if they're progressing, what is the status of their design approval? I mean, does it, because design approvals expire after 2 years if there's no activity. What is activity? What's the definition of that?
The building
know,
permit, approval of the
Building permit,
permit.
they've done a
Okay.
little bit of mobilization last year or so, yeah.
Okay. Oh, so they have a building permit, which means they're working. Is that what you were saying, Joe?
Well, that would be, I don't think there is an active building permit, but that's what would start the process.
Okay, so if the design approval expires before there's a building permit, they would need to come back to us to renew that
To
approval.
extend it, right, to
To
extend it.
extend it. So do they need to be warned about that? Is their design approval in jeopardy of expiring before they file a building permit?
Right now, no, but that would, you know, cutting it close this summer.
So maybe they could be just given a heads up on that so they can track it
Yeah, absolutely.
and then come before us so that they don't get delayed. You know, because the last thing we want to do is stand in the way just because of process.
Yeah,
So
typically that's, yeah, if they send in a request prior to it expiring, then that's usually added as an administrative approval item, provided that there are no changes to the project.
to the design.
Yeah, if it comes after it expires, then they come back to the commission for another presentation.
Yeah, so can staff give them that information so that they can proceed accordingly?
Absolutely.
That's great. Thank you, Joe, for that clarification. Anything else, Joe or Sarah?
Could I bring up something, John? It's great that Joe's here. This might qualify as an update, but we were asked about volunteering for a group or a committee or something that would address this very security issue that we hear all the time from applicants. And the city or whoever never followed up with us. Do you know anything about that, Joe?
When was that? Who?
It was, what was it, guys? Last year?
There have been a couple of city meetings. As an owner of some of the property in the South End, you know, we've been invited, and there have been meetings. I'm not sure what you're referring to around BLC being specifically in attendance, but
maybe it was through neighborhood services. Is that?
it was through neighborhood services and a couple of other departments, but yeah, I attended too, and I think there were more than that.
Well, John Amadeo, do you remember this? You know, we were specifically invited, the South End Landmark Commission, to participate in a focus group or something that would look at that, because we're constantly put in this tough position by applicants who have security issues, and they want us to, consider that in how we vote on applications, and we cannot. So I don't know, nothing ever came of it.
Right. I only have a vague recollection of what you're saying, but it's a recollection nevertheless. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember talking at a city level about this issue.
We can follow up with ONS and, with the South End representative and see.
Yeah, if you could report back to us at the next meeting on that, that would be great if you could look into it. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Joe.
Sure.
Okay.
John, I have kind of a nebulous comment here. I could have been more surprised when we were talking about one of the violations earlier tonight, when Joe said it was not true, and I think other commissioners were caught surprised too. That it was not true that a building permit could not be issued when there was an outstanding violation. That was lightning.
Mhm. I
So
know. So and we've had this discussion too, maybe before you rejoined us, Peter, about what the what kind of enforcement do we have of violations? And
Yeah.
Joe, your answer today, I think, was a little bit of news to me about the commission essentially submitting the violation to court, remanding it to a court case. Is that
So
the
I want let's
follow up?
I think we need to pause here.
Yeah.
We're at staff updates, and you're going way out of staff updates. So, this is something we could do potentially at a training to discuss violations and remedies. But we're, I mean, I want to be clear, when we have staff comments, it's not really an open forum for, we have to be careful with open meeting law.
Right.
So, if there are, if there are questions, please reach out to us as staff.
Well, sometimes
point, Joe.
though, you can't blame us for bringing this up because right after a hearing where this stuff has been brought up and you're here and the inclination is to, follow
Yeah,
up.
no, I understand, but
Sorry.
we have to be careful with open meeting law.
Okay.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah. But we
so-
want those opportunities to have some sort of conversation about this stuff.
So, yes, at a training, or, individuals can reach out to staff with questions.
I do think that there's been enough times that we've had things reinterpreted that it's appropriate to have I don't remember what it's called, executive committee or a commissioner only, where we just speak among ourselves without having public hearing. Because there's been a lot of this that's come up in the past.
A business hearing.
A business hearing.
That's right.
And I think it's because getting a offsite or a training schedule I think it took 3 years last time. And I may be being conservative, and half of the people couldn't make it, as it turned out. So a business meeting after a hearing or before a hearing would seem, or at the beginning of a hearing, at the end of a hearing, might make sense. I think because of the open meeting law, I can't say I have a list of things that we've had reinterpretations on.
So could we submit that list to staff and say that, could we put a business meeting on the agenda for an upcoming?
We'd have to, I mean, I have to discuss this with, leadership to see exactly how we do it. But yes, please send us your questions and we can come up with some kind of forum to have them answered.
Okay.
Cool.
Can we circulate the list among the commissioners so that, because I think
No,
starting it will bring.
no, again, I'm not being difficult, but we have to
Joe, you're such
respect
a
the
difficult
open
person.
meeting law. So,
Right.
please submit them to staff.
Okay.
Okay.
Then once staff collects them, can they send out an email to us and say, these are the,
Discussion topics.
yep, these are the composite
Yes.
questions, and are there
Okay.
any further nuances and clarifications needed on them?
Well, yeah. So it sounds like there's a mechanism by which we can proceed. So if there are no other staffed updates, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, voice vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Good to see you all.
Yeah.
Happy.
When's our dinner?
Oh yeah, we've got a form of dinner. So
Send in your question.
yeah. I'll
I waited till after staff updates to ask that question.
no, that's good. We're adjourned.